Yeah, it's been a few months. Um, it's been an insane few months. Brandon, crazy life stuff going on. Myself as well. I don't really want to. I want to take away from the pod too much. Listen, I missed you guys a lot.
We're back.
I missed yapping about college football. Did you guys miss us at all? We rounded out last season with 50 episodes. Brandon, that goes into the off season and major transfer portal and everything, all that good stuff. And we're really from the transfer portal closing to where we are now. It's the end of May. Episode 51. Guys, it's Two Fans, One Pod. I'm Alex. This is Brandon. But from where we are to where we're going to be, which is going to be in the start of August, when the real season starts, not a lot is going to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over, just like we did last year with you guys, preseason, we're going to go over all the win total projections for each of the teams across the major conferences. And we're going to start with the Big Ten. But before we do, Brandon, how have you been, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm excited to do this. Same old, same old. Summer's right around the corner. And for a lot of people, that means, they're going to take vacations. They're going to go outside. They're going to go to the beach. For you and me, it means that we're back in the goddamn lab.
Oh, my God.
We're ready to crunch some numbers. We're ready to do some scouting. We're ready to go ahead and, really just figure out. We're ready to punch in some futures.
Some huge bets for those of you guys.
Which is what we're about to discuss. No, but it's been great. Dude, one thing real quick before we get into it. I think we've talked about this. Maryland has player futures as well. So, I've been spending time over there and I'm like, dude, I'm going to have to grab Alex, take a little trip up there, and me and him are going to have to cook up something and then we'll come right back down.
You said only in Maryland, right?
No, not in Virginia.
That's because the player props. Futures. Yeah, player props. It's actually very. I think it's limited from state to state. A lot of them don't allow you to do it. I think Jersey does. Maybe New York does. I don't remember. But Virginia, you can. The fact that you can gamble on the teams and you can't. What difference does it make? They're making their money through NIL anyway. Who cares? I'd love to do that. With how volatile this transfer portal was, by the way. There's probably going to be some super underflated and over, inflated numbers. So definitely, I'm down to go up to Maryland. Let's go put those bets in. But for today, 100%. We're going to stick with the high level stuff that everyone in the country can bet on, hopefully, if your state allows betting. We're going to go over, just like I said, we're going to go over the win projections, the over-unders on the totals, and we're going to start in the Big Ten. We're going to start with the powerhouses, Brandon. I think we should start with the big boys. And we have to be very honest with ourselves, too. Okay? All the sugarcoating, all the nonsense. We're going to start with Indiana.
You don't want me to be politically correct is what you're saying.
No, I want you to be brutal a little bit with these. Let's be real with each other. Okay, there's no more sugarcoating. Hey, this is a great team. Congratulations. Great coaching program. Whatever you want to say. We're going to start with Indiana. And I'm going to be a little hypocritical here, based on how I analyze the team. So just bear with me for a second. I saw three big pickups. We went over this already in the offseason. We had three big pickups. I got a new quarterback, a shiny brand new quarterback, and Josh Hoover, former TCU legend. And then they also just happened to pick up Nick Marsh, who was really the only positive thing Michigan State had on offense, it felt like. He was a true freshman, and he was showing out. And in today's day and age, if you're that young and you're showing out in a small school, I feel like it's a bad thing because you're going to leave. You're going to go to a better school. And is this not a perfect example? Anyway, it's in the same conference. How are there not rules on this too? Doesn't matter. Don't care. Happy to see it. The sport is exciting as hell at the very least. Nick Marsh, Josh Hoover, and then they took our star DB, A.J. Harris out of Penn State. Yeah. So really, they are picking up studs. They won the national championship. Huge for the school. Huge. Going from the losing program in football to a national champion. People are going to want to go to your school now. Okay? And they're paying out their players. Not only are they paying out their coaching staff, but they're paying out the players. Indiana has a crazy alumni. Nobody knew about this. But here we are. 3 stars on the team. And then on top of that, their trenches are pretty much untouched. Granted, they had a couple of big players leave on the offensive line, but that interior offensive line and plus that left tackle, Carter Smith, the trenches are squared away. I'm not even going to question this. I looked at their schedule. First of all, you're starting out with I'm not talking about outside of the Big Four. I'm talking like even in your own conference, Northwestern, Rutgers, Nebraska. I mean, I'm not really sweating these early in the season. I think for sure, they're 6-0 going into the Ohio State matchup. They get to play Ohio State at home. The one that I was a little bit nervous about, honestly, was at Michigan in the Big House. If that ends up being a night game, who knows? Indiana, I've seen them squander like big moments, like when they're under the lights. Granted, they won a national championship last year, but like I've seen them squander before, so that puts them in a predicament. That's the one game. I count one game that I'm worried about, and that's at Michigan. Other than that, I love them to go 11 wins. 10.5 is easy for me. That's why I said a little bit hypocritical. Talk to me.
Yeah, 10.5. I see them going over 100%. The two toughest games I see on their schedule are Michigan and Ohio State. Ohio State is a caliber ahead of Michigan right now. I hate to say it, but it is true. So I feel like that Michigan game, that it should be winnable. The Ohio State game, that's where the question marks are. Last year, it wasn't really a dominant win against Ohio State. It seemed like it was a bit of a back and forth. Definitely a battle for them. And like you mentioned, they have a lot of returning seniors, and specifically they have them coming back in the trenches, which is where they dominated every single game last season. The play style that they play with I was actually talking to a buddy of mine earlier today, and he's a Maryland guy. I keep saying we need to have him on the pod. Great dude. And we were just discussing just the way that Indiana plays. And he was saying it's so similar to the way Saban's Alabama team played offense. Like,
I mean, it worked under Saban, right?
Yeah, it worked under Saban. Very ground and pound, very run first, run heavy offense.
Yeah, but
eventually
saying,
Saban kind of did.
Kurt Cignetti worked under him. I mean, he idolized. I mean, he's
trying
to emulate
exactly.
it. You know what I mean? He wants to emulate that.
And it's working. It's working really well. And I think a big thing that he has going for him is the seniority that he has. There's a lot of upperclassmen on that squad. Of course, they're coming off of a natty, so it's not anymore that whole like Cinderella story that the first 2 seasons it was very much like, oh, there's something special going on. And no, this is a legit thing now. This is a serious thing. So they're able to get some talent now. And then they just operate very well with the portal and NIL. But several other schools do that. The thing that sets apart Cignetti from the rest of them is the coaching. And I mean, you heard the story coming out how apparently Nick Marsh, he came out to one of the first practices and he was wearing gold cleats. And like you said, he was their star pickup. He was like the #1 rated receiver in the transfer portal this year. And that was a huge pickup for them. He's a dog. He should feel like that. You know what I mean? Like he has earned the right to be that guy and feel like he is.
Yeah.
He comes out in gold cleats. Cignetti rips him a new one. Tells his ass to get back in the locker room, take those off. Like the way that he disciplines these guys in an era where that seems like it's getting more and more just impossible to do because of NIL and stuff. It just he's the perfect blend, and this program is the perfect blend of the modern era and that traditional era. And that's why I think they're going to have another successful season. I don't think a championship hangover is even in the question for these guys. This is not one of these schools like a FSU with Jameis Winston that was able to make it to the thing, and then they had their time. No, I think as long as Cignetti is there, it's something will always be going on at Indiana. So I 100% have them going over.
Yeah, I mean, the speed at which that whole program has progressed over the past 2 years is like absurd. I mean,
100%.
Double-digit win season, his first year in office is, I mean, if you want to talk about building a culture, that's what it is. You set the standard off the bat. So, I mean, I have a lot of respect for him. I was a Kurt Cignetti hater because of how poorly he finished his freshman season. And I understand losing his program in college football, but in the big moments, that's what it was. The end of the big moments, he had that guy Curtis Rourke, right? Kyle Rourke, was it Curtis Rourke?
Yeah, Curtis.
Yeah, and he had him, and he was a Heisman contender. I think he ended top 10 in Heisman voting. So I don't know. For me, it's I really looked at that freshman season. And I was like, I don't know if he can do it. And obviously he did. He brought in even more studs, and he developed Fernando Mendoza into the #1 overall pick. I mean, what he is able to do inside that locker room, I don't know what it is, but it's insane. It's insane.
It's insane.
It's insane. So he has reshaped college football as we know it. He will. 100%. When we look back in history for college football, what he did to Indiana is the turning point. That is the tipping point. That was the point where everyone realized, wait a minute, you can just buy a team with the right coaching staff and win a natty. Doesn't matter what team you are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
If you can coach, absolutely.
Yeah, if you can coach, if you can build.
It doesn't matter what program you are, where you are in the country. If you got the payroll and you can coach, like we're saying.
Yeah, and we shit on. Listen, I shit on Lane more than anybody, but he worked under the greats. He worked under Saban, and look where he is now. He was one of the most sought after coaches last year too. I don't know if he's going to pan out the same way as Kurt did, but I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that, but you know me. I don't know. That's not going to happen. So, final say, both of us, yes on Indiana. Let's go. Huge.
100%.
Oregon. Let's head down to Eugene. Oregon. What have they done in the portal? First of all, they're set at 10.5 wins. That's their over-under.
Really?
Yes. Which is spicy.
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, it is spicy. Go ahead. I'll let you continue.
Yeah, no. I mean, the big names. I had 2 big names, really. I mean, there's 100 names. Also, some pretty key people leaving as well. But like, low key, I look at this team. They picked up Coy Parrish, who is like, he fills that spot. God, I think it was Thieneman. Was his name Thieneman? Where he kind of played that like safety nickel hybrid. Ended up getting that pick at Penn State. But Coy Parrish is arguably, I mean, we've talked about this, like arguably one of the best defensive backs in the country. And now that Caleb Downs is out and he's, drafted, I mean, he might be the best DB they have in the country. So you brought in elite talent, fills immediate gaps. Plus you brought in Dylan Raiola. I understand Dante Moore is, and then also Decorian Moore is back too. So it's really question marks on who's actually going to start. Dylan Raiola coming in now. Maybe they're competing for the role. I'm sure Dante Moore still has the starting spot. But they have depth now. I mean, they picked up tons of people in the trenches, obviously to fill some gaps too. But I don't know. The way I'm looking at this is like Oregon. I know I've seen what you've done. I've seen the output. I've seen 11 win seasons, 11 plus win seasons. I don't know. I still don't have faith. I'm going to be real with you. I don't have faith in Oregon. And I know the haters are going to come for me in the comments. And please do. Please. I mean, I don't know. I have been a big proponent of that coaching staff. Are they going to win a national championship? They are keeping, I mean, they have some major trench players coming in. They have arguably the best D-line in the country. Arguably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are
arguably
they
one of the best defenses in the country, yeah.
Do we really think, do we have faith in the coaching staff to bring home a natty the way that they got that? Yeah. The way that their season played out? It's unfortunate. Boise State, Oklahoma State, Portland State, 3 cupcakes they're starting out with, right? They get Boise State at home. That's why I say it's a cupcake. Then you're playing at USC. And then you're hosting UCLA, Nebraska, Illinois, Northwestern. I mean, these teams are not Michigan State. You have a pretty cupcake schedule. What I'm worried about, honestly, I'm looking at Washington. I'm looking at Michigan. I'm looking at Ohio State. And for me, with 3 question marks, I could say with 10 wins. 11 is a lot for me. And I still don't have total faith in that coaching staff to be able to get to 11 wins regular season. Again, I know they just did, right? Last year. I don't know. I don't know if I see it happening again.
Yeah, I mean they just got a brand new OC in DC. They lost both of their coordinators, so that's going to be a tough turnaround for them. I'm not too familiar with who they brought on. But I do think that's going to be an adjustment, right? Like no matter how similar the scheme or the system is to the previous coordinators, it's going to be an adjustment. Just getting to know your new coaches, personnel adjusting, all of that. They did well in the transfer portal. They didn't really hit like too many home runs other than Coy Parrish, which is huge. Absolutely. You and me have discussed he's like probably arguably the best defensive back in the country. He had a phenomenal freshman year at Minnesota. I think he's going to have a phenomenal year this year at Oregon. So their secondary should be strong. That defense should be strong. It's one of those. It's a situation with them where, like last year, they struggled to beat Iowa. They struggled to beat Penn State. They struggled to beat Texas Tech. I mean, there were too many moments where I just didn't see that dominant Oregon team that we were expecting to see. And I think the loss of 2 coordinators it makes me have less faith even more now. And like you mentioned, their schedule doesn't seem too tough. I do think that at Oklahoma State game is a little bit sneaky. That's a sneaky game. I wouldn't be too quick to guarantee a W to Oregon from that game, just because it's, they got that brand new Eric Morris coming in, Drew Messmaker,
it's just the
quarterback.
freshman.
That whole thing, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting to see what happens, and it's at Oklahoma State. That'll be an interesting game. Who knows? Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe maybe Oklahoma State absolutely gets destroyed. But I do agree with you. I just haven't seen enough. I didn't see enough from them last season to even say that they would get over 10.5 wins. And I don't see enough things that they addressed this offseason. Nice, they got Dylan Raiola, but like you mentioned, they're still going to move forward with Dante Moore. That is the plan. So, is Dylan Raiola being added to the roster? Is that going to make that much of a difference to the team overall? I'm not sure. Maybe it'll improve, Dante Moore's play from the, perspective of him being more competitive in practices and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I know that they had a lot of injuries too for their wide receivers. DeCorian Moore was heavily relied on last year, the true freshman. He's coming back. Evan Stewart is coming back from injury, which is big too. So we'll see. Maybe that receiver core takes the next step. I like their run game. I like the running backs, but it's more of a committee thing over there. Just because I just don't see. I don't see enough to go over 10.5. I'm gonna have to ride with you on this. I'm going with the under.
Yeah,
phenomenal team.
Great team.
They could make the playoffs and make some noise.
I think
I
been
love
very
Dan
vocal
Lanning.
about how much we love him. I've said many times on the pod before that this is a coaching staff that will win a national championship. Are my 100%. Hopes dwindling a little bit? Yes, kind of. I mean, I don't know, but Dan Lanning also one of Saban's childs, right?
Disciples,
yeah, his disciple. So really, it's like it's obvious you're building the culture and you're getting the talent, and as soon as the two intersect the right way, then hopefully you bring home a natty. So, Godspeed to Oregon. 10 wins. You'll still go to the playoffs. Don't worry.
That's what I'm saying. They could easily make some noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, and they did beat, for the record, Texas Tech, not as handily as the score suggests, I would say. If you go look at it again, because they scored real late in the game just to make it look more like a blowout. But that defense was holding true, and if freaking Baron Morton could just do one freaking throw. Anyway, Ohio State.
He had a bunch of future bets on them just to get that out the way. But yeah, continue.
I had so many early in the season. I think it was once I saw them dominate Utah, that's when I went all in. I said this team has the potential to win a national championship because Devin Dampier was such a big deal. Utah had this crazy powerhouse offense. They're hosting them at home, and literally they couldn't do anything. They couldn't do anything, and I was like, this defense is a national championship defense. Anyway, the defense did well against Oregon. Ohio State, our favorite team in the Big Ten. Ohio State, 9.5. And you know why?
9.5?
You know why? It's because that early game at Texas. That's why. They got early game at Texas. They got an October game at Iowa. That's under the lights. Iowa's one of those teams.
They have a tough schedule.
Yeah, they have at Indiana. You know what? Playing Oregon for them is no cakewalk, but they do have them at home. And then obviously they got the game.
Yo, this is okay. 9.5 makes sense.
9.5.
Wow.
Yes. Now I did. I went into. I looked. The numbers are weird here. The numbers are a little bit weird. Their win projections for a lot of these go into the 60s on some of these games, and I don't trust the ESPN numbers anyway. But they're clearly seeing something, and I think this. This has. Arguably, this might actually be the toughest schedule in the Big Ten as far as the big guys go. At Indiana is tough. At USC is going to be tough. It just will be because, it is what it is. And then at Texas early. And you saw how Texas lost that game at Ohio State, at the shoe.
It was barely even a lot. It was
embarrassing.
A close game the whole time.
It was literally embarrassing. Literally, it was Ohio State defense just showing up. That's all it was.
Yeah. So Ohio State's offense wasn't doing much.
They weren't doing anything. Julian Sain couldn't get anything going. He had one big throw to Carnell Tate. That was it. I don't know. Ohio State 9.5 wins. I want to start off by saying I'm taking the over. I'm taking 10 plus wins this season because there is nothing that will build a culture like setting your wins lower than your standard. Ohio State is not a freaking 9-win team. They're not. You have returning starters. You have the best wide receiver in the country. There is no question they're going to put up points.
Yeah, all of your impactful offensive players are returned. Julian Sayin, Jeremiah Smith, Bo Jackson are all back.
Their interior offensive line, I think it's like guard, center, guard are all returning. You might need to fact check me on that. And then they also have their trenches, their D-line, their trenches looks exquisite. And you win. That's how you win in the Big Ten. At the end of the day, that's what it takes to get dubs. Julian Sayin and Jeremiah Smith, they have a year of experience where they kind of broke into the mold, and now they get to play again. Julian Sayin at one point was a Heisman contender, you guys, okay?
Yeah, he was.
It just so happened that after the Big Ten performance, they were like, yeah, maybe not so. The Big Ten championship performance, they're like, maybe not so much anymore. But truly, Jeremiah Smith is the best offensive player in the country. We can't, I'm just going to put it out there. Trey'Dez Green might actually be more athletic and a better player overall.
He's insane.
Which is insane. Yeah. But that's a conversation for another time. But he is there. Jeremiah Smith is in the conversation for the best. He's going to be an early Heisman favorite.
A Heisman candidate, yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
There is no way you're going to tell me this is a 9-win season. I hate to say it. I hate Ohio State, you guys. Damn it. I said it out loud. At Texas, at Iowa, at Indiana, I'm taking the over, brother. I think this is a team with look, you lost a bunch of starters, a lot of first and second round talent, obviously. But you have a ton of returning players in pivotal position groups. The guards, interior offensive line in college football, to have that is the most premium position groups. To be able to have experience. They have all Big Ten first team on that offensive line returning. They did lose a lot. They lost a lot on defense. They lost obviously Caleb Downs. You also lost Igbinosun. Hilarious, by the way, that we're putting him in the conversation. He also got drafted.
Lost him. Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese. They lost a lot.
They lost a lot. But they also picked up linebacker. This guy Christian Allegro they picked up. I think they picked up the right positions to fill the gaps as like a temporary, for this upcoming year. But they have returning offense. I really, really like this team for 10 wins. Talk to me.
So just looking at these matchups real quick, right? I understand that Ohio State lost some impact, some stars on defense specifically. But when I look at their schedule, I still think the group that they have on defense going into the season is able to stop or compete with a lot of these offenses. I'm looking at, I could see them stopping Oregon's offense, which is probably the best offense that I'm looking at. Maybe them. No, I really can't say it's Texas, Indiana. Damn, this is a tough schedule. No, but I do stick to that though. I do think that the defense that they have can compete with any of these teams' offenses that they're playing. And then their offense, hate to say it, I think is the most well-rounded out, best in the country when it comes to everything. Brandon Inniss is a legit receiver. He's stepping into Carnell Tate's shoes. Will he be as successful, as impactful as Carnell Tate? I don't know, but he is a damn good player, and I'm sure he's going to make some plays this year. Jeremiah Smith is Jeremiah Smith. We don't even need it. He's a monster. We don't even need to go any further than that. Bo Jackson had a great year last year. I think he's going to take a big leap. Julian Sayin, he's a top 3 quarterback in my opinion in college football. I know that there's a lot of really good guys out there right now.
He has the stats.
He has the stats.
He had crazy completion percentage last year. Crazy.
Yeah, he doesn't make mistakes. Say what you want about that offense and how talented it is and the guys around him. That may be true, but you still got to go out there and put them in positions to succeed. And that's what he's doing. And he's making the right throws. He doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't force the ball. I'm a fan of him. And he's had some pretty throws too. Like the way he's able to just place it for his guys to make some plays like down the field. I saw some throws that he had to Carnell Tate last year, and I was like, damn, he placed it well. So I do think that their offense is it's going to be too much to handle for all of these teams' defenses. I can see Texas really putting up a fight against their offense. I can see Oregon putting up a fight against their offense. But the rest of these teams, I don't know. Indiana's Indiana, so we'll see. They're different, so I'm sure that they will. But I don't know, 9.5, man. That's just too low for me. And I feel like the thing with Ohio State, and this is kind of what happened last year too. Last year they had an insane roster as well, but then there were guys like Bo Jackson, who we really didn't account for, making a huge impact for that team. There's going to be the similar situation this year where guys that we weren't even expecting to have an impact are going to have an impact alongside. And it's not even like they're replacing the guys that we thought would have an impact. They're just supplementing it. Like it's insane, like we thought Carnell Tate was going to have a year last year. Don't get me wrong. But we didn't think he was going to be the guy that ended up being drafted in the top 5, I don't think. So I think that there's going to be a couple situations like that for Ohio State. I do see them going over that win total. It breaks my heart to say this. Ugh. But that's...
It's disrespectful. 9.5 is disrespectful.
It really is. That's really what I'm trying to say. Like that I can't take them under 9.5. That's just absurd to me. That's absurd.
You want to hear a 9.5 line that doesn't make any sense?
Oh boy.
Penn State. 9.5 wins is their projected over under, huh?
Talk to me, Bubba.
9.5 wins seems a little bit crazy to me. It seems like just for the record, Marshall, Temple, Buffalo, Wisconsin, Northwestern, and then you start getting into the nitty-gritty. Then you got the Michigan, the USC. They got a little bit of a cupcake. I think that's why. So I'm going to start out by saying that their schedule is not really loaded. I mean, the hardest game is going to be at Michigan. There's nothing even close. The next hardest thing is hosting USC, maybe?
Yeah, those are the two.
But even hosting USC is like, I mean, it's going to happen. First of all, it's going to happen in October. And USC does not travel well. We've seen that. I don't know if this schedule, like, if that's the reason why, but it feels like the 9.5 is because it feels cupcake. I'm going to put those in quotes. I'm not even going to, the transfer portal's whatever here, right? Because we're Ohio State. We're sorry, not Ohio State. We're Iowa State from last year, right?
Yeah.
We are Iowa State. So you picked up that tight end, the quarterback, pretty much the entire offense, and the entire secondary too. And then in addition to losing like pretty much all your stars, like talking stars, these names were going to be like household names. Chaz Coleman, 100%. Ethan Grunkemeyer, I know that sounds crazy, but he was looking real prime towards the end of last year. Luke Reynolds is the next Tyler Warren, you guys. I'm not saying he's going to have the same output, but he has the build. He's got the athleticism. Then you lose also defensive stars, AJ Harris. Amari Campbell kind of is like going from school to school every year, so it's whatever. Kind of he might have honestly done that even if they had a 10-win season anyway. I don't know. There's so much movement here that I don't want to just look at this and be like, okay, cool, yeah. What I'm gonna say is, I think the theatrics that went along with the Penn State hiring decisions, the athletic director coming out and giving individualized speeches about why he's picking and not picking people, kind of really making a mockery of the whole thing, it feels like. I don't necessarily think his name is Matt Campbell, right? Yes. I don't know if necessarily he is going to fit the Penn State mold immediately. I would love that. I would love for the Iowa State coaching staff to just come in, pick up where they left off, get onto like 8, 9, 10 win seasons, dominate their conference, which is really what it felt like they were doing. They've created a lot of NFL talent, right? I mean, they've pumped out freaking Brock Purdy and Breece Hall, and you got these stars that came to your school, and you got real NFL talent. And I'm not saying Rocco Becht is not an NFL talent. He might be. I mean, he looked pretty good for the first half of the season last year. But what's hard to imagine is that they're going to get 10 wins off rip in his first year as head coach. 10 wins is crazy, you guys. We would all be hugging each other if James Franklin got 10 wins in a season. Because that means that we only lost to Michigan and Ohio State. Well, it is what it is. I just don't have faith. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't have faith that they're going to hit 10 wins. I love Penn State. It's tough. It's tough for me to look at them. I see them as an 8-win. I would love it if they had a 9-win season. I'm going to be honest with you. But it's tough for me to look at the schedule and look at the team in the state that it's in and have confidence in knowing they're going to hit 10 wins. Take it away.
I really like what you're. I like how you mentioned like his first season, him getting 10 wins. That's a tall task. Even considering how easy, for lack of a better term, this schedule does look. Like, okay, let's look at, for example, a school like LSU. They just got Lane Kiffin, right? And right off the bat, I think their win total is 8.5 or something like that. He's even trying to manage expectations. And he's not out here saying that they're going to dominate this first season. He's trying to, get people to kind of slow their roll a bit. And I think he understands that him getting 8 wins would be honestly him just getting 8 wins would be huge for his first season, in my opinion. I really do think so. That maybe not huge, but that would be very solid, very strong start to his tenure at LSU. We were just talking about Kurt Signetti. His first year, nobody expected that. Absolutely nobody expected that. And then when it came time to play, the tougher opponents his first year, they didn't win those games. You know what I mean? And I think that the opponents that they have on this schedule are tougher than the ones that Indiana had under his Signetti his first year. I mean, I really just don't. I like USC, Michigan, Washington. I could even see them losing against Maryland. Minnesota is never a tough opponent or never an easy opponent. Excuse me. They're a tough team. They're a scary one. They have a great defense.
They always put up a fight, even when they come to Penn State. I mean, it's a true Big Ten schedule, and I think overlooking that is a mistake.
I think if I was to guarantee them wins, I think that they beat Northwestern, especially after the departure of their head coach.
I know, but
you never know.
What? Northwestern has put up a fight.
I know, and it's at Northwestern, and it's at night too, home night game too. So that's going to be interesting. I could see them beating Wisconsin. The first 3 games on their schedule, they should win those. But then after those, the 4 or 5 games on their schedule, that's definitely where it gets scary. Purdue is not a school that to be taken lightly. They're not a scary school, but you shouldn't take them lightly, definitely. I don't know. I hate to continue to agree on every single one so far, but I have to agree. I don't see they lost so much on their roster. I mean, they lost both of their running backs. They lost their whole identity on offense. Their defense had so many moving parts. I mean, like you mentioned, it's literally the new Iowa State. Tony Rojas is coming back, which is huge. He's definitely going to be a leader on that. Yeah. Shout out to him, honestly, for staying loyal, staying put over there.
I mean, the defense.
I think he's going to have a big year.
Him. Yeah, he's literally going to. They're probably going to make him captain and everything. He's a great player.
100%.
Had crazy highlights for the last couple of years over Penn State, even in the postseason, the playoffs and stuff. I love Tony Rojas. I hope I hope he has a great season. But he is going to be spearheading a defense that is he has never worked with before.
This is a big test for him.
It's a big test, and it's really
a big test for him. I'm excited. He should be excited for sure. I think this is a big opportunity for him to go out there and showcase that he can be the guy on a defense. James Peoples I guess that's a big addition for them for the running back room. I got them under. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I think the under makes sense. I mean, I'd be happy with 9 wins for the record, guys.
Yeah.
The Trojans. Next up, USC. 8.5.
Let's do it.
They're at 8.5. Okay?
Really?
8 wins. Or 9. What do you guys think?
Whoa.
I'm worried about Micaiah Lemon leaving. I'm not going to lie. I think Jaden Mayava is a great player. They also picked up Penn State's edge rusher, Zariah Fisher, who's excellent, by the way. I don't know. It's tough to look at this team right now and say definitively yes or no. But what I want to do is I want to go over their schedule for just a second here. You have San Jose State, Fresno State, Ragin' Cajuns. Then you've got Rutgers playing Oregon and Washington at home, And then you have at Penn State, at Wisconsin, playing Ohio State, at Indiana. I mean, they have a monster week 7 through like week 11. Monster games. Oregon, Washington, Penn State, Ohio State, Indiana. 5 of their 6 games are big question marks. This is, I mean, let's also take another step back, right? This is supposed to be Lincoln Riley's, we'll call it a contract year. Is that what we want to call it? Because we kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt last year because he had some instances of like good defensive play, or he had some instances of very good offensive play. But they lost their best players by far, Brandon, like not even remotely close. Kamari Ramsey and Mekhi Lemon is losing your very best defensive player and your very best offensive player by a mile. Mekhi Lemon's first round draft pick. So they have to fill those spots, don't they? And at wide receiver, I love Jaden Maiava, but who was he throwing to? They picked up this guy, what was his name? Terrell Anderson. Yeah, from NC State. But is that the hole that they want to fill it with? Like, is that what they want? Is that going to be their star? So I don't know. I think the team looks good. Do they look good enough for a 9-win season? I'm going to say no. They're a perennial 8-win team. Perennial 8-win team with Luke Riley at the helm. That's it. Next question.
I think that the running back room did get stronger. King Miller had a good year last year, and they added Wayman Jordan too. So that's going to be fun.
So good. He's actually so good. He had a hell of a season. I forgot about him.
He's a monster. I think he's going to have a great year. And then adding Wayman Jordan to that room is going to help a lot too. I think that's going to be a fun running game to watch. Jaden Maiava, I have a lot of faith in him. I think he can throw the ball. Like he's incredible. I really do think he is. I think he's a great quarterback. I do understand that he had 2, wide receivers on his team. One of them went first day, the other one went day 2. That helped him a lot, 100%. But I think Tanu Kynes, the sophomore receiver that they have, I believe, he had a good year last year as a freshman. So I think that they're looking to him to, make a lot of big plays this year for them. And then Terrell Anderson, that helps as well. Their wide receiver room, it seems like they have a lot of guys that they want to see who's going to go out there and be, their guy. And I think that early on in the season, it's going to give them a chance to do that. And then from there, that they really need to have their stuff figured out by Rutgers, I'd say. Like those first 3 games and hopefully in the spring helped too. By Rutgers, I think they need to have like their whole situation figured out as far as like who their starters are going to be on wide receiver, who they're going to rely on. I'm really curious to see how that defense is going to look, man. I really am. Because I know that in the past, that's never been Lincoln Riley's strength, to be honest. But who knows? Maybe this time that changes. Damn, you said it was at what, their total?
It's 8.5. It's a perennial 8-win team, brother.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we'll go over.
Oh. Okay.
We'll go over.
Okay. More faith than I do.
Yeah. I could see them beating Washington. I could see them beating Penn State. I could see them beating Maryland, UCLA. The games that I don't see them winning are Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon. Rest of the games they can win.
Okay. So you're shooting 9 for 9 on the others.
9 for 9.
Okay.
9 for 9.
We'll take it.
And they're going to go ahead and beat Oregon. But yeah, go ahead and continue, please.
Thank you. Congratulations. I want you to start off with this next one. And their win total is also 8.5.
You don't even, I think I already know where you're going with this. I'll go ahead and take it over because you don't even need to. The University of Michigan.
Yes.
Now, their schedule is absolutely terrifying. It literally gave me a heart attack when I first saw it. They are playing, I want to say, Indiana, Ohio State. I want to say Oregon as well. Penn State, Oklahoma early on in the year.
Yes.
Like this is I'm just gonna read it. I'm just gonna read it out loud because this is actually insane. Western Michigan at home, Oklahoma week 2 at home. Week 2.
Yeah, week 2.
That's a healthy John Mateer. That's a healthy John Mateer, and he was a Heisman candidate. All right.
Yeah.
UTEP week 3. Iowa Hawkeyes week 4. You know how we feel on this program about the Iowa Hawkeyes. They're not to be messed with. They are a program that can surprise anyone, and they do not. They don't have any easy wins, easy losses, whatever it is. Hold on, give me a second. And then we got Minnesota week 4. That's another tough one. Then they got their bye week, and then they got to play Penn State at home. Who knows what that program's going to look like at that point. They're one of those schools also, like we were just mentioning. I just mentioned it for the previous one. They're going to have the first couple of weeks to get their affairs in order, and by that time, who knows? That Penn State team could be ready to rock and roll.
Guys, it's literally Iowa State versus program. Utah, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got Indiana at Michigan. That's a plus, I guess. It'll be at home. Rutgers, Michigan State game. That's a rivalry game. Michigan should win that game, but it's a rivalry game. You got Oregon. You got to go to Eugene, Oregon. You got to go to Autzen to play that game. Then you got UCLA, and then we end with the game. Now, you said that the win total is at what, 8.5 or 9.5?
8.5.
8.5. 8.5 is more promising, but still, it's just a really tough schedule. Bryce Underwood, I do think that he's going to make a leap this year, but I think he's still going to have a lot of moments where it's like, I'm really curious to see. So when I was watching Michigan last year, one of the things that I noticed was we didn't use Bryce Underwood to the best of his athletic abilities, right? I didn't see many QB designed runs. I didn't see him take off and scramble on his own. I didn't see him improvising too much. A lot of the times when he was passing it seemed like it was one read, a lot of read option plays, them relying on the run game. And I do think that that's going to continue because that's how Utah plays. A lot of run first offense, them relying on the run game. But another thing that Utah did do is they had a lot of QB designed runs. Devin Dampier had like an insane year on the ground last year. And he had made a big leap from his first to second year at Utah throwing the ball. So I do think that Bryce Underwood is going to make a decent leap when it comes to throwing the ball next year. I think it'll be a noticeable leap. But as far as him running the ball, that's what I'm really curious to see because I think that is what could take this team to a guaranteed over on that win total. If we're able to utilize him for everything that he is, not just his arm talent, but we need to utilize him on the ground as well. Because the running back room looks great. Savion Hyder, I'm really excited about his addition, the true freshman. Jordan Marshall, I think, is going to have a great year as well. The defense, I'm not worried about the defense at all. I think the defense is going to play good too. I have a lot of faith in Kyle Whittingham. The number one thing for me is to see how they use Bryce in the run game. Now, do I think that it's good? I don't see him specifically being the kind of guy that's able to, take off when the pocket starts collapsing, or if he doesn't see anything open, he just uses his feet and takes off for 20 yards or 15 yards. I do see it more so being QB designed runs just based off of what I saw last year. He didn't seem like the kind of quarterback that was willing to just take off with his legs. So with all that being said, I do think that they go over. Go blue.
Go blue. Huge.
Simple as that.
Huge.
I just talked myself into it.
Okay. So I'm going to do the same thing you did, right? Western Michigan, sure, you win. Oklahoma's a toss-up for me right now. Yeah, go ahead. I would say Penn State's a toss-up. I think Indiana's going to be very difficult. At Oregon, at Ohio State are losses, right? So I'm starting off really with them at 9 wins. Are we sure? Are we really sure you think they're going to hit the over? I'm going to take the under here. There's no question for me. I think there's too many there's too many games where I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they could even start hot. They could start, 4-0 and they beat Oklahoma and Iowa at home, but they have an incredibly difficult, just like you said, Penn State, Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State to round out the second half of your season. I don't know. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for them to hit 9 wins here. I see them with 8, which is still huge. I mean, again, you have to think about it. It's a new coaching staff, and you're trying to go and you're trying to insert yourself into the culture and immediately start building off of that. They basically transferred like half of Utah players over there. Rod Moore's back. You guys, I mean, the team, it looks good. Andrew Marsh, remember how good he was? We said he had a great season last year. Bryce Underwood is still like very athletically gifted. I just don't know if he's necessarily being coached properly or playing in the right scheme. Maybe that will change this year. But because there's too many question marks, they also lost Justice Haynes. No.
Yeah, he's at Georgia Tech.
I'm gonna say no.
That one hurt.
I'm gonna say they're gonna take the under. Take the under there.
I'm excited, man. I'm actually excited. I'm looking at the roster again right now, and I'm very excited.
Okay.
They didn't lose too much.
I mean, they
didn't lose too much. They added a lot of guys from Utah. They filled in the gaps where they needed to be filled in. I like Jamie French too. James French, the transfer from Texas. I believe he was a freshman last year. He should be a big addition to that wide receiver room. I think they're expecting him to kind of be a starter day one, which is going to be exciting. JJ Buchanan, another wide receiver from Utah. That guy's going to make some noise.
John Henry Daly was the sack leader at one point last year, so he's
that's a big addition on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean they look good. I'm not saying that the team. It's just I think it's just that the idea of like a brand new coaching staff and they're trying to fit into the mold. I understand that like Kyle Whittingham really fits the Michigan mold, but
he fits it perfectly.
I'm not sure if it's gonna show on paper instantly. 9 wins is like a lot to ask for. The team, for a team that had plenty of talent last year on offense and defense and wasn't able to really produce either. So
this is true.
Justice Haynes. Arguably, I talked about, I think it was like week 2 or week 3, I said, I think he's the best running back in the country.
And we both said that. He was insane.
Or at least in contention for. So
he was winning them the games. That was the only offense that we had for a second until Andrew Marsh came into his own. Before Andrew Marsh was popping off, it was really just relying on Justice Haynes.
Yeah. I like watching. I love the Michigan. I love their play style. I love their defensive grit and all that good stuff. They got returning starters. I just think there's too many question marks. That's why I'm taking the under. Still love the team. All right, guys. I think that's going to round out this part 1. We've been yapping for a while, but I have a lot to say. Honestly, the Big Ten is like the conference that I watch the most by far. So I have a lot, a lot of opinions on it. The win totals, they're always whack. They're always whack. Let's not forget that Penn State was at 10.5 last year. I really am excited for the season. And we're going to come back with a part 2 of the Big Ten Conference. There's some smaller schools we definitely want to go over. Michigan State, Maryland, Wisconsin. I mean, there's some crazy changes at some of these smaller schools. And we want to go over it with you guys. So we'll stay tuned for a part 2 on this. Brandon, talk to me.
This was a great episode. Really enjoyed talking about our schools, especially because, it's our conference, our schools, Michigan, Penn State. Let's go. Can't wait to see how they do. Can't wait to talk about Maryland. A lot of other schools, a lot of changes in the Big Ten. And before we sign off, I do want to give a shout out to our newest, first, greatest sponsor, Shaggy Golf. Very cool golf apparel company. Highly recommend. We'll go ahead and tag them in the post. I believe 5% of all the proceeds go to dogs in need or a charitable contribution for dogs. So, and I'm talking to a dog owner right now. So, we felt like this was a great brand for us to go ahead and be able to, showcase on our show. Owner is an Ole Miss fan, and we are hoping to have him on our Ole Miss preview episode. Really looking forward to that. But yeah, man, go ahead and check out Shaggy Golf's gear. A lot of gear. They got some polos coming soon. The hats are great quality. But yeah, let's go, baby. I'm ready for this season.
That is awesome. I'm going through the website now. They got some cool stuff on here.
Let's go.
Shaggy Golf. That's our first sponsor.
Shaggy Golf, baby. That's our first one.
Dog related.
First,
and
latest,
golf
and
related.
greatest, baby. Come on.
Go pay Shaggy Golf. It's shaggygolfshop.com. Go pay him a visit, and we'll put the link at the bottom and also in the description and stuff. Very cool. I love the emblem on the top of the hat. Okay, you guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. We love talking to you guys. Stay tuned for the next episode. We're going to finish out the Big Ten with their win projections. And then hopefully the season will just be here. Because I'm sick of waiting for it. I hate that they're so long. We can't. There needs to be something in the middle. So, who knows? You guys, it's been a pleasure. We love you guys. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. That way you can get notified as soon as we put up new stuff. And we're going to start getting back on the schedule. Because the season is closing in on us.
The season is here.
It's really like we're less than 3 months away, you guys.
Amen. 2 fans.
1 pod. Peace out, guys.